Fantastic future. The best minds, business and science create ideal wives companions who are not satisfied scandals, always friendly and happy. The project is called Wife-like. Women are no different from ordinary life partners apart from the fact that they work for Android. William is a police detective and protector of companions. His task includes the rescue of virtual women, as recently there has been growing unrest among dissatisfied citizens gathering in groups under the leadership of the arena master. The man himself was recently widowed and finally he decided to use the services of the agency and buy a robotic wife. She is made a complete copy of Meredith, William's deceased wife, so when the guy comes for his betrothed, he remembers the first meeting with his wife, who came to his house collecting signatures for a petition to ban artificial people. William brings his wife to his house and puts him on sofa, starts her work. Meredith explains calmly and tenderly that her own house is around her, explains how to walk and talk, whereupon the couple goes into the bedroom and William has to spend quite a lot of time to activate the 18 settings. Finally, all the functions are connected and Meredith gets intimate. At the end process, William asks the robot to stay with him, but Meredith goes to her room since her husband discharged it to her full battery and urgently needed charging, but the girl doesn't immediately do the charging, lies down. Having first sorted through those found in personal belongings of William's wife on the chest of drawers, and then stood for some time at the window, watching natural phenomena. In the morning, William is treated to a delicious breakfast from his tidy and smiling wife, which is only marred by the fact that the girl refused to cook bacon for the guy, citing security settings. Just in time, snack was shown on TV. Another report about kidnapped girls whose companions are taken by members of the group delay to be used in their sabotage. At work, William receives a task to find two missing girls, and at the same time he is noted as the best catcher of the week. The second is the cop's friend Jack, who has also been living with his virtual wife for a long time. William finds one of the abducted people and, despite the command, goes alone to rescue her, freeing the girl from the shock collar. Jack comes to William, but the guy has already dealt with the invader himself, saying that he resisted. Meredith goes to exercise again and goes into sleep mode, where Virtual the Dream Operator sends her to gala concert in honor of the birthday. There the girl meets different people and sees a man in a mask who hands her a business card with a red bird drawn on it. The guy doesn't have time to explain anything to the android as William approaches her. Meredith opens the menu and finds your hobbies. Having looked at the possibilities, she asks the program to add knitting, after which the girl knits a pillow with the same bird as was on the business card. The girl decides to ride a bicycle and meets a strange, rude woman in the forest who constantly tells her that she must remember something. Returning home, she tells her husband about what happened, but William says that he does not understand who she is talking about, believing that this is just an offended woman who was replaced with a companion and healed the abrasions on the girl's lap, goes with her to the shower. Meredith gives her husband a pillow that she knitted that day and this greatly touches the man. But he is surprised by the android's talent, because his living wife has never knitted. The guy tells Meredith about their first meeting on a park bench, when he asked permission to sit next to him, but the blonde refused him. In the evenings, Meredith reads her personal diary, the original, but she can't remember nothing of what is described there. Going into sleep mode, she asks the operator to show these memories, but the files turn out to be locked. The database contains memories of a meeting on a bench, but instead of William, a masked man approaches the girl and asks her to remember something important. But at that moment William wakes up his wife and she fails to find out how the meeting ended. The man takes his wife into his bed, and he takes the pillow given to him to the street trash. After waiting for her husband to fall asleep, Meredith searches the program for videos from the life of her original, in which she is very happy with William in a tent in nature. William receives a new mission to find Lisa Miller. The cop finds her working as a secretary and posing as an ordinary person. The guy tells the girl that he must take her to the company where they will refresh, but Lisa does not agree to this. Is the kind of life that goes out the window. At William's house while he's at work, again Liz, the woman from the park, appears. She asks the android to look at her closely, look through the program, record a message for the owner of the house. In it, the woman talks about some Keen, who is waiting to meet Meredith. B companies launch a new project, The Perfect Child Who Will Never Grow Up. William carefully studies the advertisement and then goes to a meeting with the virtual center. The guy reports Lisa's action and worries that the other companions will be able to make decisions, but the center refuses to fix this problem. Returning home, William sees that his wife has knitted him another pillow with bird, which begins to bother him, especially after he finds out about Lisa's visit. Jack spends time with his companion when he calls William, horrified, reports that they came to his house. William finds out that he was given a note and it becomes clear that his wife suspects him of something. The guy has to admit to the girl that he erased her memories because she participated in attacks on civilians that ended in death. William begins to realize that Keen is following him through Meredith, which he informs Jack about. The guy asks his friend to help him track Keen using Meredith's dreams. A man goes into a dream with his wife and, as he expected, they meet a guy there, this time without a mask. A serious fight breaks out between the men, but Keen manages to survive because Meredith wakes up in time. Jack reminds his friend that they have no right to interfere and engage in assault even in their sleep. But the distraught William does not listen to his friend and promises to end his life next time. Keen. William tells his wife that tomorrow she will undergo a procedure to remove memories, and even to the woman's requests not to do this, the cop does not agree, declaring that he is not ready to risk her. The girl is taken into a room where a couple of dozen people like her are already waiting their turn. According to one of the neighbors, Meredith understands that she has been in the same situation many times already, and each of them she met the girls. Oya shares with the blonde in a way with the help which you can hold on to the memories and not forget who you really are, but she asks Meredith to keep it all a secret, otherwise they will no longer be able to help the Arena Master fight against the Like a Wife project. Meredith finds out that she has already used Oya's advice, and this means that somewhere inside she has old memories that I couldn't find William. The girls lie down on the floor to try to recreate them. Louise comes to Jack's house and gives his companion a flash drive on which incriminating evidence on William has been collected. William himself brings Meredith home again and everything starts all over again. The girl is also sitting on the sofa, unable to walk or speak. At that moment when William tells the girl that he is her husband, Jack enters the room and denies this. Turns out Meredith was never a cop's wife. Once he saw a cute girl, William wanted to own her so much that he took her away from Keen, depriving him of his life, but the guy succeeded with the help of memories to appear in her dreams. Jack asks his friend and colleague to give up in an amicable way and write a sincere confession, but William disagrees, so he has no doubt deals with a friend right on in the eyes of his wife. Meredith succeeds to restore memories and she sees night when William arrested her and her fiancé, and then took her to his house, leaving Keen's body on the ground. In his mansion, he put a shock collar on the captive and for some time tried to tame her alive. But it is clear that it will not be possible to melt the girl's heart, and then the cop took a small pillow with an embroidered red bird and got rid of his rebellious lover, deciding to create her electronic option. William thinks she's blonde. I should be grateful to him for the new one life, but why Meredith has a different opinion on this account. She goes into her settings and raises her physical strength level to the maximum. The girl deals with her offender without pity, prolonging the unpleasant experience for him. When there is no place left on William where his wife can't aim, she takes the tie-dye pillow with a red bird. Meredith is transported into her memories in one of their past recoveries, and it turns out that she and Louise have been fighting together against the cop for many years. For the last time, the woman came up with the idea of using the image of Keen, hoping that this would allow Meredith not to forget everything that happened. Louise gives her friend the ring that was in the groom's pocket and which he was preparing to give to his girlfriend. Meredith remembers their meeting at bench in the park and evening in a tent on nature. I wasn't there with her all this time. William and Keen. The Arena Master takes the stage and inspires the crowd with his speech, full of hope that the companions have the right, just like any person. It turns out that the Arena Master is Meredith, who organized the confrontation and who is preparing for the arrival of Digital William, who was created by the Like a Wife company.